Hi Scorpio, welcome to your general messages for January 11th to the 17th of 2021. We're going to be doing love and money / career. I'm going to be doing love first. I'll do a spread for you guys and then a spread for the energy that you're dealing with. I'm going to timestamp below for career. So if you don't want to stick around for the relationship part, you don't have to. All right, so I hope you guys are doing great today. We do have Uranus station direct in Taurus on January 14th, and that's going to be making us feel like this sort of internal evolution, allowing those of us who have been working with this energy to feel more clear about what needs addressing within our lives. And you guys specifically are going to be feeling this in your 7th house of partnerships. Okay, so that could be marriage level partnerships, business level, any sort of relationship where typically the 7th house energies are where there's some sort of legal binding circumstance going on. Maybe you guys are just living together, married, in business, whatever it is like that. And it's going to be conjunct Mars and Taurus, and that's going to be lighting a fire under your feet to make a change. It's also going to be working with a sextile to Neptune and Pisces, and that can bring confusion as to how exactly to make this happen. And it's going to be happening in your 5th house, which means like you might be wanting to make changes in a business situation, but and having to do with your creativity and how you think something should be going, or how you think something should be, something should be. Others of you, there might be situations going on within your marriage regarding children, regarding one of your kids. It doesn't matter how old they are, right? Because that has to do with 5th house energy. You might be experiencing some confusion having to do with something going on with one of your kids. You could be having some confusion regarding some sort of romance that's going on. 5th house is romance, it's creativity. You could be a little confused about some sort of creative project, some sort of creative endeavor that would require some sort of contract work that you're going through. Okay, this is how it can manifest for some of you. Now, the undercurrent of this change is coming from a square between Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury in Aquarius. That's going to be pushing you to do some serious problem solving and figure out a certain situation. Now, you guys are going to be feeling this in your 4th house of home. And the 4th house of home has to do with your literal home, buying or selling a home, updating your home, or just something that is like your metaphorical home space. It could also be something having to do with your family, especially mother, because 4th house is Cancer. It's ruled by the moon, which is mother. Now, the thing is here with that energy, this mix can create feelings of aggression and defensiveness. But there is going to be this trine of the Uranus-Mars conjunction to Pluto conjunct the Sun in Capricorn, which is going to put a focus on what needs to be ended and transformed. It doesn't mean an ending. Something could be transformed and leveled up. Venus is going to be very nicely aspected here to help support whatever change that you're going to be making. Okay, so now for you guys, you're going to be feeling that energy very specifically in your 3rd house of communication, having to do with something that you're learning, having to do with siblings, short distance travel, anything like that. Now, that new moon in Capricorn on January 12th, 13th is going to be hitting you in the same house. So there's going to be new beginnings having to do with career, right? Because what's Capricorn? Capricorn is the landlord of the 10th house. So it has to do with career, discipline, new plans, right? Anything like that. So the idea of work, right? So this is going to be working kind of with your 3rd house energy, Scorpio. So this could have to do with online communication, having to do with work, working online, learning something new, having to do with your career, something having to do with some sort of communication with your siblings regarding a situation that you're going through. This could also have to do with Capricorn, being the landlord of the 10th house is also public reputation, so it has to do with marriage. So it has to do with communication within your marriage, trying to figure out something within your marriage. Okay, there's going to definitely be a strong resolve to establish some sort of like safety in your life, like once and for all, kind of like figure something out. Is it working? Is it not working? If you really want it to work, what do we have to do to get the ball rolling? Now, I do want to just say that Saturn is going to be invisible he went invisible the end of December, is not going to be visible again until the middle of February. So the idea of being able to make something happen like that is not going to be going on right now. We have a lot of stressful energies going on this month. I'm not telling any of you anything you don't know. I don't want to hyper focus on that. I don't think that's good for our energy, our constitution. I feel like it brings us energetically into a negative space. I'm a big advocate of focusing on the positive, controlling what we can, right? So a lot of problem solving energy is going to be going on this week as well. We do have the moon void, of course, for 3.5 days. The moon goes void, of course, every week, but not for 3.5 days. It's going to be half the week. It's going to be hanging in this very nebulous space where we're not going to feel motivated or feel like we can make certain changes. I like to call it like really good bubble bath energy. It doesn't mean anything negative is going to be going on necessarily, just nothing really to move the cause forward, right? So take whatever you're working at and stay the course, whatever it is that you're doing, and just be super patient for this week, okay? So we have the idea of home, right? Having to do with your energy of relationship. So some of you may be finding yourself stuck at home, thinking about home. I mean, come on now. It's like pretty incredible because we have this, the great conjunction is happening in your 4th house of home, right? So, and this is exactly when I feel like the ball is definitely going to be rolling, at least starting to roll energetically for a lot of us, wherever that Jupiter-Saturn conjunction is hitting us. So very interesting. Some of you may be feeling stuck at home because of the pandemic, focusing on the idea of home, buying a home, selling a home, improving a home, focusing on the people who you live at home with, focusing on bringing somebody to live into your home, a situation going on with your mother and father, less your siblings, mother and father, especially mother, could definitely be somehow inflecting the relationship that you have. Any or all of those things. Okay. Could also be the metaphorical feeling of home with somebody, for sure. So we have the good tarot leading up. We are starting with the Page of Fire as the recent past. We have the 9 of Water having to do with the present. We have the Star energy, which heads up the fear positions, your fear and your blocks, your challenges, really. And then we have the Fool, which is the final outcome energy. Okay, the future energy. So let's use the Chakra Tarot for clarification. We have this Page of Fire in the recent past. So, yeah, I feel like a new approach to relationship or a new relationship altogether, but there's a lot of attraction here. It's excitement, there's motivation. There's motivation in the recent past having to do with love, relationship. Because fire is that motivation energy, but it's also the energy of attraction, of feeling very, how do I want to say this? But first of all, it's a very creative energy. So a lot of you guys maybe we're in a space in the recent past where you're coming up with a creative strategy on how to make something work in relationship. If home was the situation, coming up with a creative strategy about where you guys were going to live, how you were going to buy or sell a home, what you were going to actually do to a home to make it more comfortable for you guys to exist there. But it could also just indicate you meeting somebody new who you were very attracted to. Okay, I'm saying 9 of Cups. Let's pull the energies first. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the 3 of Swords. And we have the 10 of Coins. Okay. So, interesting because we have this idea of the Knight of Cups is all about a proposal coming in. Right? It's Prince Charming, it's Princess Charming coming in and proposing something. You know, this could be anything from let's go have dinner, you know, as a first date, to let's buy a home, let's have a baby, let's get serious, let's get engaged, let's get married. It's anything like that. You know, because the Knight brings in messages, right? So there's this message that's being brought into you, right? In this Page of Fire. Then we have it working with the 3 of Swords, which is the card of pain. This could have anything to do with heartbreak, divorce, loss, depression. For some of you, surgery, it could have to do with, for sure. But it's this card of pain. Now, there are many, many ways we can hurt each other, I always say, right? I mean, this is more, think about it like Saturn in Libra. Saturn is about structure, restriction, karma, things from the past, right? So for some of you, this could even just be a lot of resurfacing of like negativity of things from the past, and it's depressing you, even though you're moving forward and meeting somebody. That's how some of you are going to resonate with it. Others of you, you're in this space of definitely moving forward on this new cycle, but you might still have a couple of toes stuck in the past. That could certainly be going on. But then we have this working with the Ten of Coins energy, which is about, really it's about maturity. I mean, it really is. The Ten of Coins is a will you marry me card. Let's focus on the family. Let's buy a home. Let's deepen this. Whatever it is, let's deepen it, having to do with this relationship. So for some of you, those of you who have been together and are still together, I'm understanding this Three of Swords energy as being some sort of pain that you're having a hard time releasing, that you, in the past, you had a hard time letting go, whatever it was. Maybe there was infidelity in the past, or maybe you guys broke up for whatever reason and you're still holding on to that. There could certainly be that, Scorpio. I mean, there are many things that how that could be resonating. Now, for others of you, this could indicate where you meet this person in the recent past and you were very, very attracted to them, but you ended up finding out that you were part of a whole host of people, that you were not the only one that they were seeing, and that, that was a very painful thing for you. And you're just very focused on creating a family and creating something serious, and you don't even want to busy yourself with this kind of energy that's not going to be serious about the connection, okay? Now, we have this working with the Nine of Water, okay? And the Nine of Water is Nine of Cups, my friends. I mean, this is about wishes coming true. So I feel like right now you're in a situation where you're very focused on creating what it is that you want in relationship. Now we have this working with the Nine of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and the Two of Swords. Okay, so we have boundaries, but a lot of persistence having to do with the situation. So you can very well be kind of in this position right now within your relationship where you have put in a lot of energy into something because there's a history about the Nine of Wands. This is not something new, right? Because this is about having gone through a lot, but still having energy left in you for it, but you're keeping some boundaries. You're realizing that in order to work at something, you need to create boundaries. Now, we have this working with the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is withdrawing and retreating and moving on and abandoning something that just really was not working. Really wasn't working for you. And the thing is, this is a Saturn and Pisces energy. So when we have the Saturn energy here, again, it's about this restriction, this idea of delay in being able to have what it is that you see in your mind's eye is really wanting, and you recognizing that there's something toxic and not working having to do with the situation. Some of you may be even checked out already, where you realize that you're not going to get what it is that you're really looking for in the situation. You may have mentally and emotionally checked out. But for others of you, it's like you're half in and half out. I'm sort of getting a half in, half out energy, if that makes sense. As we do have then this working with the Two of Swords, where it's time to compromise and you have to make a decision. So you have to, you're at this space where you really have to figure something out. It's very interesting. I'm also feeling though, like for some of you, the Eight of Cups could also be this walking away and just moving on from something that you needed to learn in relationship. Does that make sense? It's almost like learning from the experience and walking away from any sort of toxic behavior that was getting in the way of the relationship not working up to this point. I almost feel like you were in this space, almost at a crossroads emotionally, where you're in this space where you're like, okay, I know that didn't work in the relationship. I still want to be in this with this person. I want to have this, wish fulfillment with them. But as far as actually going into full execution of it, I know I can't do that anymore. They can't do this anymore. But you being in this space of not full resolve, because it is time to compromise in some way. There's something that you need to compromise on. Now, where is the block? The block, we have the star energy. Stars are great energy, right? I mean, this is about renewal and hope and having inner clarity and having faith. Scorpio, I feel like you might be having a little crisis of faith in a situation. You might be in this space where you're at this point where you're like, I don't know, like if I do this, is it going to really be any different moving forward? I don't know if I could trust it. I don't know. Because the stars is, it's Aquarius, it's ruled by Uranus, it's all about the future, focusing on the future. But there's a history here about it, right? Because it's this idea of renewal. So being able to renew something in a different way and almost having a turn of events in a way that you really weren't even expecting, but you're having a hard time seeing that. That's in your block position. Yeah, okay, we have the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is a really great energy, but this is a block. This means news coming in that's going to incite change in a situation. So some of you may be in this holding space where you're waiting, where, for example, right, you got the crowning energy of home. Give this as a basic example that might resonate with some of you, where you're waiting to find out if you either sold your home or if you got the mortgage for a new home, if home is a situation here. And you're having a hard time seeing a way forward in this relationship if certain things don't come into fruition, such as either you guys living together or you doing something together having to do with that home space. So the block here could be in that energy coming in. So it's frustration. It's, it's showing up as frustration for you, some sort of delay. And then we have the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is now in the blocked position. This is in the blocked position. This is all about rivalry and challenges and obstacles, right? It's like you're seeing the obstacles here with the Five of Wands. It's a battle of the wills. It's a battle of the egos, right? But this is a challenge for you. Like the challenge is here for you is in being able to find this harmony and have the success and being able to move forward in something. Because this battle of the wills, it's basically, it's almost like having a hard time having a meeting of the minds about how to actually move forward in something. This is a minor arcana, though. It's not as bad as like the Five of Swords energy. This really is about just a basic battle about who wants and needs what. And then we have the Princess of Cups. So this is an energy of Page is always a new cycle, and Cups has to do with emotions, right? So, and this is the challenge, though. The challenge is in being able to execute this. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with waiting on something to change within this connection. Either getting that new job in, getting approved for something being able to move forward in another way. It's like you're waiting. Some of you, the Eight of Wands also, you may be wanting to give something another chance. In other words, you're in the space of you have fire in your belly for them, and there might have been this ending, and there doesn't need to be this compromise in order for you to have your wish fulfillment. But the block here with the Star could be that maybe you guys are not in communication right now. Where you can't actually have this renewal. You can't have this. You're not feeling this faith, possibly because you're still waiting for them to contact you. In the Eight of Wands energy, you're waiting for the phone call. So you guys may not be in communication right now. Now, as the final outcome, we have the Fool. So the Fool is about fresh hope, taking a chance, new path, new adventure all together. Very nice. We get the Judgment energy. Let's pull it beautiful. We got the World. Look, we got the Chariot. Hello. We got 3 major arcanas. We have 4. We got the Fool. We have the Judgment, all major arcanas. So this is going to be a solid shift for you. Judgment energy is Pluto. This is about clarity, final decision, a wake-up call. A wake-up call. That's like you have clarity all of a sudden. The World. A lesson learned. There's been a completion of a lesson learned here. This is a Saturn energy. This is not new. This is old. You have worked so hard at something within this relationship, Scorpio, and now it's time to get that blessing. This is the job well done energy. You learned your lesson. You learned what you were supposed to learn. Chariot is getting on that chariot away. This is about action and change and getting away from what has not been working. getting away from the toxicity. So for those who've been together for a long time, you're really trying to work out a situation. This is like really facing head on whatever's been toxic and not working in the relationship and addressing it once and for all, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Focusing so that something can be healthier for you. Now, I want to also add in, we got the Chariot as the closing card, right? Chariot is the home energy in astrology. It's the 4th house of Cancer. Just saying. Moving away from toxicity to go towards what you're ultimately meant to be. And now for some of you, this is going to be fixing whatever it is that you're in. For others of you, you're just going to say like, you know what? With this line here, if this person is not going to reach out to you and they're not going to compromise, this is you saying, all right, see you later. This is going on a fresh path. Because you're finally realizing, you're having clarity. You're waking up to something. Lesson learned with that person. I'm not doing this anymore, right? That's it. Getting on the Chariot and moving out. I'm getting out of Dodge and we're going towards an area, a person, an energy that speaks to me on a fundamental level. Home. So those are the 2 ways that I'm understanding this. For those of you in a very deep, serious relationship, this can be definitely a deepening. But I feel like for a lot of you, there's this delay in something coming in that you guys need to work out. Whether it's you change your strategy or this thing finally coming in, whatever it is. I mean, this is only for a week, right? It's only for the 11th through the 17th. But it's realizing that there does need to be like that shift. But I like these closing energies are very nice, at least from your perspective. For others of you, it's you realizing this is not for you. It's not for you. Doesn't mean you don't care about them. Doesn't mean that they're even necessarily, they're a bad person at all. It just means that it's just not working in a particular way. Okay, so let's see what's going on with them. Let's pull energies for them. This will be for the person that you're dealing with. Messages for Scorpio. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Energy that they're dealing with. What does Scorpio need to understand about them? Say what you mean. Oh, do we have somebody who's passive aggressive? Who speaks in riddles, who gives lip service. A lot of times that comes up almost as a, they're saying one thing, but they actually feel another. And that could be, depending on the energy you're dealing with, it could be because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want a confrontation. Could be that. It could be that they're just saying something just to say it. They don't want to deal with something, right? I mean, that's always when we don't say what we mean. Okay. It's transformation for them in the recent past. 7 of air right now. 3 of air in the block. All right. They're feeling hurt. And then we have the moon as the final outcome. Definitely feeling a sense of hurt here. The 3 of air in their blocks. So transformation, I mean, this is very much like a Pluto energy. It's almost like a death energy, right? Changes, feeling changes in the recent past, endings. Time to move on from something, to either transform it or to release it. Definitely in that space where they may have been in this mode with you, Scorpio, where it's like, either we're going to fix this or we need to release it kind of thing. Now, remember something now. When we're doing subjective reads, you don't have to agree with the energy coming from their point. You want to look at it from their perspective and see if it doesn't make sense that they may be very well feeling like that. Even though you guys are in the same relationship and the same connection, it doesn't mean their perspective is going to match up with yours, right? The King of Pentacles in reverse to start. Now the King of Pentacles, in the upright is solid and practical. So here I have that this is somebody who's really dealing with some sort of lack of follow through. Either they're dealing with this within themselves or they're viewing you as somebody without a lack of follow through. Or this could be an energy also maybe in the past where They were somebody where things were going well and then they kept ending things, you know, to get that cyclical kind of thing. That could be a challenging energy, which it definitely connects to the say what you mean, because this would be the kind of thing where somebody says everything is okay, you know, no, we're going to do this, and then they show up and they're like, yeah, but you know what, this is, you're not doing A, B, and C, so I don't think I could, you know, be in this anymore. We're like, well, if you would have said that in the first place, maybe we wouldn't be in this energy right now, right? So that's starting out. We have the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Wands is a card of overwhelm, right? It's just being really stressed out, exhausted, being very burdened. Maybe they were like really overworked. But it's like a lot of stuff on their shoulders. And the thing is, the Ten of Wands could indicate where the path that they were going on was actually in a really good direction, but because of this energy of overwhelm and exhaustion and stress and just being too burdened by too many things, they stopped being able to see the step in front of them. They stopped being able to see where where it was that they were going. So it got to this point where they needed to end something. They needed to put down the wands because it just couldn't continue like that anymore. Something was very troubling them very deeply. Queen of Swords, I mean, you know, very self-sufficient energy, being very focused on the truth of a situation, not intentions, but truth. It's like being very, you know, we have this Queen of Swords, King of Swords. It's not a lot of emotion involved in it. It's really sticking with the facts of a situation. You know, them saying like, the bottom line is da-da-da-da-da, right? Now, right now we have them as the Seven of Air. So this is, Seven of Air is a very, this could be an energy of running away, right? Of betrayal, of dishonesty. No, either they're feeling this or they're making you feel like this, right? I mean, the energies could always be vice versa with this, but this is equivalent to the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is a moon in Aquarius. Moon is, I feel, Aquarius is, you know, being very concerned about the emotions, feeling about the future, feeling, will things ever be any different than they are right now? You know, the Seven of Swords can also show up as somebody trying to play you at your own game, right? So let's say, for example, if you guys are getting divorced, let's just say, and, you know, things are not completely solidified, them showing up and sort of acting as if, it's because it's in that way, I was considered almost like a mask-wearing energy, right? To just kind of play somebody at their own game. So they may be doing that. They may be feeling like you're doing that. You know, they may be understanding you acting a certain way and then dishing back a little bit of what it is that they feel like they're getting from you. Doesn't make it true, doesn't make it real, just makes it what they may be feeling. Those are the different ways that the Seven of Air can show up. But definitely, like, there's an element of not fully being honest here. Not being fully honest. So let's see what we got. So we got the Hermit energy, we have the Page of Swords in reverse, and we have the Ace of Wands. Hermit energy is, when it comes to relationships, it is going it alone for the time being because they feel like something is not ultimately meant for them. Something's not ultimately good for them. And this is about them. It's a problem-solving energy, right? Because it's Virgo. Hermit is a Virgo. Going within for clarity and solutions. Being on this quest for personal and spiritual illumination. Trying to figure out exactly what it is that they want. But we have this working with the Page of Swords in reverse. So Page of Swords in reverse can indicate a number of things. This could have to do with something having to do with one of their children, some sort of issue that they're focused on having to do with the truth of a situation having to do with one of their kids, or even maybe one of your kids. This could just be them dealing with some sort of bad news in their life right now, and that they're trying to navigate through. It may have to do with you. It may have nothing to do with you. But it's, you know, Page is always a new cycle and Sword is truth. And when it's reversed, it's some sort of negative realization that they're nursing right now. So for them, it could certainly be them realizing that something is not going the way that they really thought it was going to go, having to do with your relationship. And we have this working with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is some sort of, you know, it could be them just focusing their energies on a new project, going in a different way, or it could just be them focusing on trying to meet somebody new. You know, I mean, this is, it's fire, it's creativity, but it's also passion. So for some of them, it could just be, throwing themselves into this desire for this new reality, whether it has to do with another person or not. There is this idea of them honoring what it is that they really desire, right? Because Wands is a desire energy. Now, as far as their challenge goes, we have the Three of Air. Three of Air is the Three of Sword energy: heartbreak, divorce, loss, depression, and this is their challenge. So I guess this can resonate with some of you. It's also the energy of surgery, okay? So we have the Empress clarifying that. These are all the challenges here. So for some, your partner might be having a hard time getting pregnant, and that could certainly be it, because the Empress is the mother of the tarot. It's about fertility, right? Creation, pregnancy, but it's also about abundance. So the block here could be being able to feel abundant in the relationship. The problem for them could also just be feeling abundant in their life. Maybe they're in this space of lack within self, and they're battling their own demons right now. This could certainly be it. But there is this the card of pain is heading this off, right? This is Saturn in Libra. So there's some sort of pain. Libra rules the 7th house of partnerships. So it could be this pain that's just hurting them right now. Not feeling like they were able to really grow with you in the way that they see. And then to have the Strength card as the block as well. They're challenged, and as far as really loving themselves right now, really feeling self-respect. They're challenged in the ability to feel self-love. They can't see, because the Strength energy is Leo, and Leo's all about creativity and falling in love and romance and self-love and unconditional love and connection. And there's this block here for that. And then we have this working with the Six of Pentacles. So, I don't know, money might be an issue here, because they're feeling very blocked in giving or receiving help and being generous and feeling generous. So money might be an issue here as well. So here's the final outcome energy is the Moon, right? It's heading up with the Moon energy. So the Moon is about unseen problems, voluntary changes, trusting intuition. It's things that we feel, but the moon rules the past, right? Because the moon rules the 4th house. The moon rules the past. So there could definitely be, first of all, there could be situation having to do with the home. Keeping it real, because the moon rules Cancer, which is the 4th house of home, literal home or the metaphorical home, or this also can have to do with the history of home and figuring out things and how these things impacted them, having to do with their early childhood experience, and how things have sort of come to fruition in their life right now. But the moon, there's something very hidden about the moon, right? Because the moon does hide our emotions. I was just looking at the bottom of the deck energy is actually the moon as well. So we have the Magician, Knight of Swords, and the Six of Wands. Okay. I actually like these energies because I feel like with the Magician, this is a Mercury energy, right? Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Gemini is about communication, and it's the student energy. It's learning, opening oneself up to learn something in a new way. Connected with Virgo, great, right? Because Virgo is all about solving problems. And the problems are always meant to level something up, right? Because Virgo rules our health, mental, physical, and emotional, improve something. So solutions to improve something, right? That Magician energy, being very focused and creative and turning visions that are in the mind's eye into reality, and feeling actually very inspired to do so. So they feel very, in this space, in their emotions, they're very much trying to do this problem-solving energy, but there's going to be some sort of conflict here, right? Because the Knight of Swords it's this message of truth that can end up getting very heated, but it's an attempt to heal something and incite a change that needs to happen. So it's like, what are we going to do? Like we're either going to do this or we're not going to do it, and that's it. Now, having that work with the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is good news coming in that ends up inciting some sort of success, some sort of victory, feeling really passionate and motivated to move forward in a situation that they feel really good in. But this is about good news coming in. So I do feel like there's going to be some sort of, either you calling them calling you, you guys sitting down and actually having this conversation that can get very heated, but it's really necessary, because in order for the Magician to work effectively, there's got to be communication, guys, because it's Mercury, and Mercury rules communication and thought. And we need to solve some problems here, not me, you guys, in this situation. They know that. I mean, that's totally where they're at. They know that some sort of pivotal conversation, some sort of pivotal communication has got to take place in order for there to be this alchemical process of the Magician in order to make something happen. Then going back to say what you mean, I think everybody has to say what they mean in this situation. There's got to be total honesty here. Transparency is the key to this, absolutely. All right. Well, that's the process of the week. I feel like what's going to be going on. It's only a week, right? It's only a week. So, I know lots of energies for a week, but does a lot of things go on in a week, do they not? I'm keeping it real. Lots of energies do. All right. So let's go on to career. For you guys, let's see. We're going to pull Wisdom of the Oracles, the crowning. So it's not only career, it's money. So this could be any way that money comes to you. So this could be, obviously could be your career, the money that you make, your partner's money, the money they make, insurance payout, some sort of lawsuit settlement. This could have to do with inheritance, alimony, some sort of divorce settlement. I said insurance payout already. Any sort of selling a home, any sort of investment, money from an investment, stock market money even, right? Thinking second house, eighth house for energy, right? That money axis, anything there. Okay, crowning energy we have has to do with, Treasured Island. Treasured Island means that there's something that is going to be exposed, or you're at least going to be exposed to the idea of, that's going to be able to be grown, which is really, really good. Okay, very nice energy. I like it. But the Treasure Island also is an understanding. I want you to pay attention to this card. You see how it's all that water's emotions, right? And then we have the turtle, which helps this idea, which helps this, whatever needs to be realized, come up from the depths of the ocean. So the ocean, if we understand it as being your emotions, there's something inside of you that needs to come up and be released. So this is some sort of either creative project, some sort of new perspective, but something that's in you that needs to be released, or at least recognized. Two of Cups. You saw I shuffled, and I shuffled 6 times in between all the decks. I shuffled them 6 times in between, doing the signs. I got the Two of Cups in career reads after all these shuffles as the leading of the past energy as agreement for, I think, 3 or 4 signs. So if you watch your other signs, because you should always be checking your sun, rising, your moon, and your Venus energy for everything, you may find that's come up in a couple of the readings. Okay, we got that with the Tower. All right, let's pull all of these and then we'll get the full scoop. So Two of Cups, and we're dealing with career read, can mean an important conversation you having, some sort of agreement, a meeting of the minds. It's this coming in and it's this proposal. So you could be having a conversation. It could have anything to do with the salary that you're getting paid, the hours that you're working, the way in which you're working, some sort of issue within the workplace. This could also have to do with negotiating some sort of legal contract, the sale of a home, anything that could have to do with really anything, right? I mean, coming together to negotiate, to sign something, to agree to something in order to move forward. But we have, after that conversation, look what we have. We have a Tower. So something ending, or something just not working out the way, there's this realization maybe that something is just not going to work out and you need to go in a different direction. And I feel like for some of you, let me just go quick through what I'm feeling right now before I lose the thought. Returning to something that you once did, once upon a time, a job that you were involved in at one point, an idea that you were nursing at one point, a project that you started at one point. But there's definitely this harkening back to the past. For some of you, this could just be connecting with people that you used to know, or either that you used to work with, maybe you went to school with, whatever it is. But then you being in, to me, what is the nice energy, this is a good energy to have, I feel like, when it comes to money and career, having choices, right? Multitasking, you weighing your options here. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? Better to have options than to not have options, right? Now, for some of you, you may be realizing after having a conversation with somebody that you want something totally different for yourself. This Tower moment can be completely internal, where you're realizing that you want to take a totally different perspective to something. So maybe, let's say, for example, you're working on a project, and after having a conversation, maybe a brainstorming connection with somebody, you're realizing you want to go in a totally different connection with that project. You're going to, okay, so fill in the blank. I could be here all day long saying all the different ways that can end up manifesting. For others of you, like I mentioned before, you could be realizing that after having this important conversation, somebody offering something, you realizing that, first of all, this proposal here can be a totally new job, where you're leaving a job that you were in and you're returning to something that you used to do, okay? For others of you, you're realizing that something has reached its expiration date after having this conversation. But I see the bottom line here is I do see you being in a space in the recent past where you were needing to weigh your options and sort of figure out a strategy and how you wanted to actually handle something. So right now, you're in a space of defending yourself. This is self-defense, right? But it's a Mars and Leo energy. So it's like drawing a line in the sand. It's saying, this is what I'm willing to tolerate, accept, and work with. And this is what I'm not. And that's it, right? It really is about you defending your rights within something. And now that could have anything to do from money to your creativity to just what you're willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept. So we have the moon. There's stuff going on here that you may not really actually see right now. Some things that are hidden. This could definitely be behind the scenes stuff that's going on right now. But you're in a space where you're feeling like you need to trust your intuition. Now, some of you may be doing a lot of strategizing internally right now, where you're not disclosing what it is that you're thinking or feeling. And you know what? What's wrong with that? Especially when we're talking about like money and career. Like, yeah, I mean, you don't want to bite your nose off to spite your face or show all your cards, right? All of these metaphors. You don't want to show all of your cards, right? Until you know exactly what you want. So we have this working with the Queen of Cups energy. I like this because you're getting in touch with what it is that feels right to you, all right? This is a Gemini and Cancer. Gemini is all about communication. It's about the mental. It's thinking, right? Cancer has to do, and communicating. Cancer has to do with, it has to do with home, but it's like metaphorically, like what do you feel at home in? What do you feel safe in? What feels good to you? What feels good to you? What is the nurturing and sort of supportive energy that you feel? So for some of you, you can be meeting somebody within the workplace that's offering you something that feels very right to you. For others of you, you're just in the space of just at least recognizing what feels right to you. But to have the Page of Swords, I'm kind of liking this because there's this truth coming out. Page always means a new cycle. There's this truth. This could be new communication as well, having to do with the workplace. So I feel like maybe whatever wasn't working out here there is new communication opening up based on, though, what you need, what you need. I mean, kind of like what your checklist is, and you staying, holding that pretty, fast. And it's not even like you're being you're not even being like, egocentric with this idea of wants, needs, and desires and all of that. It's basically like what feels right to you, what doesn't feel right to you. Now, the challenge here is the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles has to do with maturity. It has to do with, now for some of you, the challenge here could be settling up an inheritance. It could be settling up the idea of retirement, or you're feeling like you want to retire, but you can't, kind of thing. Some of you can be feeling that. But whatever it is, it's this element of maturity with the Ten of Pentacles. It is this, for some of you, there can be this exchange of issue having to do with, because this is also a marriage card, one of the marriage cards. So if you're dealing with some sort of divorce settlement, that it could show up that way, with that serving as a block for you. Could also have to do with any sort of family business, family connection, because the Ten of Pentacles is a very family, very legacy-driven energy as well. But this is the block for you. And for some of you, it can just simply be feeling blocked and being able to attain this level of success and having the money that it is that you're looking for right now. Now, another block is we have the death energy. So you could feeling very sort of stagnant right now. But this is about feeling very challenged by having the changes and being able to move on or transform something. So you're feeling stuck in something. You might be in the space of waiting, but it's like something just can't end or be transformed right now, at least how you're seeing it. Another challenge is the Magician here. Yeah, I mean, so the challenge here is, I feel like there's some sort of scattered energy. There could be what you seem to be, you feel like wasted resources. You're seeing like unfulfilled potential in something, and it's very challenging to you, right? Because this is a block for you, being able to make something happen. Again, the Magician is such a positive energy because it's Mercury. It's about communication. So communication can be very blocked for you right now in a healthy way that is able to bring on that change and solve the problems, right? Trying to solve the problems, because his Magician again is Mercury. Mercury is Gemini and Virgo. Virgo is problem-solving energy. Gemini is all about having that communication to solve the problem, and that's in the block. We have this working with the Five of Pentacles. So, when we have this as a block, you're feeling very worried, feeling this loss of feeling a financial loss or fearing it. You're feeling blocked by that, where it's kind of like a poverty mindset. And you're feeling very blocked by that. So again, now these are the blocks, right? But let's look at the final outcome energy, the Nine of Wands, which is keeping and maintaining boundaries and being persistent in something, right? It's a moon in Sagittarius. So you are feeling like if you stick with something, you will be able to move forward with luck, with integrity, right? Because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. We have this Three of Cups. I like this. This is very good. This is about friendship, celebration, having a circle of support, kind of a celebratory vibe regarding something. So I do feel like if there's persistence in something, you're going to feel like you're going to have the support, and there's a celebratory vibe about things going really well. We have the Page of Cups. Okay, good. So the Page of Cups is this new cycle of something being offered that's going to resonate with you, that's going to end up bringing you the success that you're looking for, which is the Six of Wands. So I really feel like for now, just for this week, the 11th through the 17th, it looks like you're setting your ducks up in a row. You're very clearly identifying what the blocks are, and you're being able to move forward. But it looks like if you just stay the course, it's going to go really well for you, because the Six of Wands is great. It's a card of success. So, yeah. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I think this looks good. This looks good. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.